Sri Che Khalib Muhammad Noor, or just CK, personifies the fashionable brand Calvin Klein's leadership ethos. Bold, precise, and relentlessly disciplined. His career transforming national energy and utilities companies mirrors the CK brand's minimalist power, cutting through the noise with decisive action. A strategist who thrives under pressure, he rejects mediocrity as fiercely as the fashion brand CK rejects compromise. Let's dissect Tan Sri's leadership playbook. Let's hear his point of view on leadership, stripped down to the bare essentials, where confidence meets unshakable execution. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and welcome to this episode of Cuba Cerita. It's a pleasure to have you again, and Coach Azman rasa macam this is opportunities for me to reconnect with old friends, acquaintances, some who I've even worked under many years ago. Today we are at the headquarters of MMC Corporation in Wisma Budiman in KL, where we have the pleasure of meeting Tan Sri Che Khalib Muhammad Noor, who is the CEO, someone who is one of those CEOs who generally is most of the time under the radar. But fortunately today, alhamdulillah, in spite of his busy schedule, we have had the opportunity to meet him and welcome to be our guest on Cuba Cerita. Assalamualaikum, Tan Sri.
Thank you, Azman. Nice to see you. I know we have long connection since the Renong days.
Yes.
But thank you for inviting me.
We often see each other at weddings, at least, kan?
Well, frankly, I've never had a podcast session before.
So
this is the first time. I think, again, because of you, Azman, I think because of the long relationship, I felt that I'm obliged to accept your invitation.
Thank you.
But usually I don't do this.
I know. And again, it's an opportunity to reacquaint ourselves and share stories. And as you know, Tan Sri, this is a podcast where a lot of up-and-coming leaders, they like to watch it because they want to learn insights into the guests that we have. Alhamdulillah, most of our guests are known relatively well in the market. Some are still new faces. I must say that most of our guests also are either their own entrepreneurs or maybe even in retirement. But so to get a sitting CEO like yourself who's busy day by day and coming to your office is really a pleasure. So thank you so much, Tan Sri.
Thank you again.
Okay, so really, I like to begin these sessions by really getting to know you as a person. I understand that asal daripada Kedah, but you were raised in Penang. But that's about all that I really know about you as a friend and someone, an old acquaintance. Tell us a bit more about who is Che Khalib and what was your upbringing like back in the day.
Okay, right. I wouldn't want to start as a cliche. A lot of people always say that, well, my origins start from Kampung. Yes, which is true. Okay. I'm from Kampung. But what I think perhaps which has influenced my character, I would say that, well, I'm from Kampung. Then my father passed away when I was young. That's when I was Form 1.
I see.
And then my mother, lady who are not educated, so she has to take care of my 4 siblings, all of us, 4 of us. So basically, then again, she has to work. At the time, I think my arwah father managed to start a small, kedai kampung. So she was running that. And then we are here. And then we were all very small. My brother is 1 year older than me. My sister 1 year younger than me. And then we have a gap of almost 12 years. We have another sister. So again, as a result of that, and then I went to school. I went to school in Penang Free School. So just imagine, got to travel from Bayalapas, which is my kampung, to free school. I have to take 2 buses. And basically, grew up, basically together with friends. So that perhaps has somehow shaped my character. Because being kampung guy, kampung boy, and then go to school in the city, town, so you have to be able to what's so called to survive. I think you have to basically fight for your own. And again, I think, and then, like I said, grew up together with friends. So it depends. And I must say I'm lucky that I have the right circle of friends. So I always emphasize this matter to my children now. Yes, you all have to have friends, but you must make sure select the right circle of friends. Because friends will have what's so-called a great influence in terms of your character. Because if you join the wrong crowd, and then basically, definitely, you will have some issues going up. So that's how it is. Well, okay, going to school, I think, as I said just now, from bypass, of course, I stayed at the hostel initially. Then I went to school by bus. So to wake up very early in the morning, dari kampung kat bypass to go to free school. So 5:30 I have to leave home, and by the time school's at 7. So, but again, what I could say is that the hard work, the kind of thing that I have to go through, hardened me in a way. So I think, well, in school, I think I was a bit lucky because, Alhamdulillah, God have given me the brain that in terms of academically, I excel. But since when I was in school, I always like to fight for things that I believe must be corrected. So I know some of my friends who came from free school, they know this story. I have even so-called, not to say fight, again, I always have this argument with my disciplinary master. That one was, and his name is, I would say, Arwah. He's a good man. Now I appreciate what he's doing. He's a great man. I think he's trying to do all he could to ensure that the students are well behaved. But somehow I have some disagreement on certain things that he has done. So I always went to basically argue with him. Just imagine, as a student, and this is disciplinary master, no, it's not about anyone, it's disciplinary master, and he was one of the strictest disciplinary master that we all know. That is Cikgu Ibrahim. So I went to see him, and then we all fought. And not just fought, we argued, and again, so that was me lah. So my character since I was in school, I'm not a person who just say, okay, it's fine. No, if things that I believe is not really right, I will stand and say that, well, this is not right. I cannot agree with you.
Mashallah. So even at that age, you were quite bold to even speak up again against the disciplinary master Arwah, and I'm sure it brings back memories of of that time when you had a particular thought or view that you wanted to express it. Kan? Were you a prefect also at that time?
No, definitely not. Nowhere near. No, but the thing that I said, Alhamdulillah, academically I did well. So the disciplinary master cannot find fault in terms of my academic. But of course, behavior biasalah sekolah kan, boys school, a bit nakal sikit. But again, to the extent, this one, when I somehow I think my life has always, there's a lot of so-called deja vu in my life. No?
Okay.
Why I say deja vu? That basically landed me to the job that I do later in life. Okay, why I say that?
Okay.
One, I was born in Sungai Petani.
Right.
My house basically next to the railway station.
All right.
Right? So now later you'll find why I say this. Railway station, because that is a government quarters.
Okay.
So I stayed from age 0 till 6. I stayed next to the railway station.
Okay.
Then when I went to free school, I have this argument with my headmaster. My discipline master. So I used to tell him, Cikgu, because he was very strict, because he was basically the teacher that took care of the cadet army, right? So he's very strict. So they're very military kind of rules. So I said, Cikgu, if you one day, if I become a meter reader, because he said everything you have to follow rules, Khalib. So I said, well, bila saya besar besok ni, kalau saya jadi meter reader, cikgu tak bayar bil, satu hari saya potong.
Okay.
So that's the second one.
So you use the meter reader as the analogy.
Saya kata saya jadi meter reader pun, because dia kata everything you must follow rules. Okay, tak apa cikgu. Cikgu besok saya besar, saya jadi meter reader. Kalau cikgu tak bayar bil cikgu satu hari, saya potong. That's how I can be so bold when I put on things. And the third one is that, well, I come from Penang.
Yes.
So we live in island.
Pulau,
And Pulau. And then we have, Penang used to be famous for its sports.
Yes.
So then you can see how it relates to my career.
I know, it looks like it. Yeah?
So Alhamdulillah, I think Alhamdulillah, God has been kind to me. I was one of I would consider the youngest CEO appointed.
I know, because you went into accountancy.
Yeah.
You became a chartered accountant.
Right.
And most chartered accountants become they join auditors, and they join the Big Four and all that. So you went that route. But this is the point which I was going to start to allude in this particular interview, is that I remember back in the day, it was still Renong days, where you were appointed one of the youngest CEOs at maybe 28?
29, yeah.
29, and this was the railway company, wasn't it?
Yes,
Mara Unggul, KTM.
Yeah.
And I remember, because again, I was already in Renong in those days, but I was much junior. And I remember how that was a company that Renong had almost as good as taken private, kan? This was the railway asset company of the country.
The KTM lah, basically.
KTM,
we
and
tried to privatize KTM.
It was an appointment which maybe in those days we did have young CEOs, but it was also a very interesting post to be appointed to, kan?
Yeah, because at that time, right, I don't think anyone can be a CEO of a large organization at below 50 even. So at that time, even all the CEO of KTM before me are all above 50 lah. Even the general managers in KTM at that point of time, above 50.
Yes.
So I was only 29. I was appointed as the EXCO chairman cum CEO of KTM at that time. You can imagine being young, and then again having all my general managers or head of department all almost double my age.
Okay.
So trying to manage that is again, one, you must make sure that you know and learn your subject matter well, because if not, they say, what, this guy 29 years old, what does he know? Orang kata hingus pun masih meleleh lagi kan. But nonetheless, I think I managed to do that because of, again, when you are given, especially for these younger generations, I must say, when you are given a task or an amanah to do it well. Not just simply because I've been asked to do this job, I think they just do it. Because again, to manage KTM is not easy. They have a very strong union. So for me, my so-called motto in life is that if you want to do something, do it well. If not, better don't do it at all.
But if you think about it, Tan Sri, and this is back in the day, this was the 90s, I believe, it's still the 90s, kan? And I know that time, for example, you were part of Renong, Tan Sri Halim Saad. He somehow rather had faith in a lot of his leaders that he would handpick to head the various companies, kan? But what was it like in those days? What was maybe, again, the first thought that came to mind? I mean, it's not something that you maybe immediately expect, or was it you were just waiting to be appointed? How does it happen back in the day?
One must appreciate Halim Saad is one of, I would say, difficult boss to work for.
Yes.
Not because of anything, because his expectation is high.
Yes.
Right. He expects all the staff to know, and you must know everything at the back of your hand.
Okay.
So that is Halim Saad. And again, he expects whatever job being done, it must be done not just well, must be perfect.
Yes.
That is one thing. Again, for me, Halim Saad, I think for me, Tan Sri Halim, I think that I must, until today, I've been one of the person who have done, I would say, who have basically shaped me to be where I am today is because of the opportunity that he gave to me.
Yeah.
I think what he has done is that he is, I would say, good in identifying talent.
Okay.
He is good at making sure that whoever that he select, either you perform or definitely you are out. And I must say his selection, I would say 90% is right. So Halim is a person who give opportunity, not just me. There's another one more person, Zaki, I remember.
Yeah, Zaki
is also
Siddiq.
young when he was given that opportunity to be CEO of the Renong Group. The two of us were the young, I would say, the young employees of Renong that was given that opportunity. But he gave one other things that I must appreciate, which I think for leaders, the present leaders, Halim give you the opportunity to do it, and also he give the trust and empowering you to do it. So that is important, because if you give a person just the position, but you still don't give the person the trust, the empowerment to do it, and then I don't think whoever leaders that you appoint. So for me, at the age of 29, I was appointed as CEO of KTM. That was, I think, is
the start in a way.
It's a start for my career.
For your career.
Managing
the next
company
jump
of that size.
And again, a company with a long legacy, history, operationally, union, everything.
Sure.
I think a point to note, if we can, about Tan Sri Halim, if you think about it, he himself also was appointed to lead Plus and UEM Renong in his 20s still. So I think that was the ambition that he had to groom young leaders. There's another point, Tan Sri, with all due respect, the leaders of those days, they were kind of fearless, but the level of amanah to go ahead and do and deliver what was expected was boundaryless, kan? I must say, like, if I look back, there's so many names we can mention today, kan? But there was a whole battalion of leaders that had different parts of that group to cover responsibilities. It was a time when infrastructure development was at its peak in the country, kan? But another part also is from there, Alhamdulillah, dengan rezeki Tan Sri, you continued. Excuse me if I get the sequence wrong, but KUB and Ranhill, and of course Tenaga National in between. You are very unique because your career has enabled you to work under tycoons, business tycoons, from Tan Sri Halim to Tan Sri Hamdan. Of course, today you're under the umbrella of the Tan Sri Syed Mokhtar Buhari Group. But in between that, you were a key member of Khazanah, of course, leading Tenaga National. Of course, in a way, UEM post restructuring became part of Khazanah. Is there something, if you were to reflect, that is very distinguishing about being a CEO who is under the stable of an entrepreneur-led corporation versus being a CEO of a GLC? Maybe one or two pointers?
Well, kalau kita tengok the so-called the psyche of entrepreneur, and GLC.
All right.
What I could describe the vast difference between entrepreneur and working for GLC, because I've served both.
Exactly.
Not only that, KUB, another one, which is a political company. So, entrepreneur are people who are prepared to take risks. And whereas when it comes to GLC, very governance, compliance, making sure everything has been looked at, which is completely two different way of looking at things. I can give you an analogy. Entrepreneur, when they jump from an airplane, they just jump. Whereas when it comes to GLC, before they jump, make sure what is the height, how is the weather, if the parachute, is it working or not, insurance, have you taken the insurance or not? So these two different things, two different worlds. Because for entrepreneur, when they jump,
they have a parachute?
No, they don't have parachute. No parachute. Entrepreneur, when they jump, no parachute.
They figure it out.
They just make if you ask them, isn't it dangerous to jump without parachute, without doing a study? No, it's okay. before I reach land, there will be something, either a tree, there will be something that I can hang on to. So I won't drop dead lah. I won't worry. There will be something. There will be a tree. There will be a river. There will be something.
Okay.
So that's the thing. So two things, because that's why now, if you look at the way why we as professional who works for GLC cannot be the entrepreneurs, because we weren't there to take the risk that the entrepreneurs are taking.
But in your case,
in my case, so since I have the benefit of both worlds, so I have to be, I can put my experiences in working for entrepreneur as well as for GLC, combine the two, taking risks, at the same time making sure the governance part is also being complied with.
Yes.
So both.
Okay.
So but at the same time, we have to be practical.
Yeah.
Because because governance is a set of rules. But my boss always remind me, Khalib, well, all these rules, except for Quran, you cannot change. Quran cannot change. The rest all can change. So that's what entrepreneur. Kalau GLC, it must make sure compliance, governance. Tidak. Kita so for me, I'm in the middle where I can blend the two approaches, entrepreneur as well as the GLC. So kita kena buat tu.
Okay.
So also, for example, like sometimes, professional. One thing I always tell people, especially these young professionals, they always say, well, Khalib, I'm not so-called, as a professional, we should be apolitical. I say, betul, I agree. As professional, you should be apolitical. But jangan buta politik.
Yes, exactly.
You can be apolitical, tapi jangan buta politik. You must be well aware of what is happening around you. You must know what politically what's happening.
Yeah.
Kalau you buta politik, you cuba sondol je, and then you will be in trouble.
Yeah.
So you must be so as much as we are governance, we are all that, but you must balance between being so-called risk taker as well as governance. But again, one thing I always remind my people is that make sure we can be aggressive, we can be adventurous, but don't be reckless.
Don't be reckless. Yeah. And is there another view that you can share with regards to air cover? So as a leader, whether you're under the GLCs or even an entrepreneur, obviously there's different degrees of air cover, but is it to a point today that maybe some CEOs feel that they don't have that air cover anymore, and maybe because of that they feel a little less able to take risk? What's your view?
Well, I think one of the reasons why I could stay long in GLC, especially in Tenaga, when I went to Tenaga, I don't think I'm well received by the people from Tenaga, because I think before me, Tan Sri Ani Arup was the first person to join Tenaga senior management from outside. I'm the second one.
Okay.
So before that, and until after that, then the only next person is our Menteri Yang Berhormat Datuk Sri Amir.
Yes.
So tak ada. So to Tenaga, having outside talent to become the CEO of Tenaga is new thing. So but again, why I think I can survive long despite all these challenges having to deal with the union. I don't think I'm very popular amongst the union, and again with as well as political, all sort of things lah. Even challenges there. Despite that, I think one of the reason why I could stay that long is because of we get the air cover from Tan Sino. Tan Sino at that time, he was basically taking care of all the GLC head, and he provided us with that air cover. In a sense that, again, we won't have access to see the PM all the time.
Sure.
But he, at that point of time, he was being a minister, so we could discuss with him. And one thing is, Tan Sri know, he's very well versed about business as well as politics. So he can look at both angles and perhaps present it to the Prime Minister, our views. Because a lot of people see Prime Minister and give their views. And we, I think, it's only fair that we also should give our views. Whatever decision that is made, I think we have to respect. We have to respect whatever decision is made. So for so long as professional, we give our views. I think similarly, I think now, I think I'm fortunate. I am very fortunate to be able to work with Tan Sri Che Khalib, a person who basically gave us the freedom to run the company professionally. I think this is the part I think one must understand and appreciate the way Tan Sri Che Khalib, he managed his company. I think one could see that he appoint professional managers to run his company. And he also keep on reminding us that do it well. Make sure that whatever task or amanah that is given to us, we do it well. That's why as far as MMC is concerned, whatever work that has been given to us, we complete, we deliver, and we make sure that whatever we complete and we deliver is good and well. And I think the air cover, Tan Sri Che Khalib also provides us with that air cover. So if let's say there's any issues that we need to resolve with the government of the day, I think he assisted us to facilitate us on this kind of thing. So I think that's why, I think that's explained why I stay this long in this group. It's only 13 years I'm with Al-Bukhari group.
Actually, kan?
13 years already. Normally I don't stay that long.
I know. I noticed that too.
Usually I will stay about 7-8 years, but I don't stay that short also. So this is another advice that I would like to give to young professional and this young generation. Do not hop jobs. Make sure that you stay long enough, because if you don't stay long enough, you won't be able to learn anything. So you can, because moving from one job to another, you can get all the promotion, but by the time you reach a certain level, you won't have enough experience, enough knowledge for you to move to the next level. Then you'll be stagnant at that level, because you are not, or you are ill prepared for the next level.
And I guess you need to build a certain track record. So if you are, that takes time. I think that patience is needed. I don't want to generalize, but I think today maybe the younger generation, maybe they're also in a bit of a hurry, whereas we do know that sometimes things do need to take their due course before you can be proud of what you've achieved.
Sure.
Personally, you are already just into your 6th series, I understand.
Already retirement age.
So, but you don't seem to be retiring, or in a way, I mean, it's up to you how you want to see it. But, at this age of your life, you are still just as active as you were or have been so many years. How do you keep that pace of motivation? What's maybe 1 or 2 secrets? Because I'm asking this question, sometimes younger leaders dah letih, dah rasa kalau boleh nak retire. But what's your secret formula? And at the same time, by the way, you already have grandchildren too. So you have that personal side of you also, which is running also at full pace. Tell us a bit about this secret you have.
I think for me, the feeling of wanting to achieve something. The feeling of wanting to get something done keep me going. Of course, when you are already 60, physically you feel tired. But I think because of your mental drive is still strong, because of the feeling of, well, I have people below me. I have my staff who, I don't know, I hope they are honest in telling me that, Khalib, we want you to be around so that at least you can continue to guide us, to provide us with the right advice. So I think that kind of so-called not wanting to let my staff down, as well as wanting to keep them motivated to do whatever that is given to us. But more important, every day when I come to the office, I always remind and tell myself, I must make some changes or some improvement to this organization on day-to-day basis.
Wow.
Every day, what can I do to improve this company? What can I do to make this company or bring this company to the next level? If you have that kind of feeling in you every day, just imagine, being past 60 already now, working like I became a CEO at the age of 29. People say age, mileage, all I think dah kalau mileage kereta ni kan dah pusing 10 kali aku kan. Because just imagine 30 over years as a CEO kan. But because of that feeling of what can I do today? Because kalau dekat office ni, when I see my schedule tak ada benda nak buat, 1 hour tak buat apa, I dah mati kutu.
So masukkan cuba cerita dah.
I have to find something to do, because if not, the very least I will do is that, okay, I go to site visit. Tak ada kerja kalau kan kata ada. But I think if you keep yourself busy, not busy for nothing, but busy wanting to achieve something,
kan?
I think that is a satisfaction that we could get. That also is the kind of trait for anybody who aspire to be an entrepreneur.
Kan?
Kalau you're an entrepreneur, you must have that kind of feeling. Every day you come to the office, you want to achieve something. You want to get something. You want to get something done. If not, stop being an entrepreneur.
Kan?
If you think that, well, let's see lah, tomorrow apa ada. No. You must say that, okay, tomorrow I want to achieve this. Tomorrow I must do this. Tomorrow I must get this thing done. Then people kata, sebab apa tak tunggu next week? No. Cannot wait to next week. If I can get it done yesterday, I'll get it done yesterday. Once you have that kind of feeling, I think not just as a professional manager, but also as an entrepreneur, you can be successful. Kalau tidak, susah. Let me tell you, I've worked, like you mentioned just now, I've worked for all 3 entrepreneurs, Tan Sri Halim Saad, Tan Sri Hamdan, and Tan Sri Said Mokhtar. As well as because of my course of work, I have this opportunity to also mix around or interact with other entrepreneurs. That one thing I noticed that they all have in common. They work hard. I've not seen any entrepreneurs who maybe some which I have not met, yang jenis orang kata dapat rezeki terbijak ni, but most of them, they really work hard and they always want to achieve something. And sometimes people ask, dia orang ni bukan dah banyak duit, dah berbilion, apa lagi dia nak? No, not because of the billion that they have. They just want to achieve something. And not for themselves. They have their own reasons for doing it. For example, like in the case of Said Mokhtar, he always said, Khalib, we have to do this for the bangsa. We have to do it for the... Because we need to do it. We have to achieve something. If not, people will keep on saying that, orang Melayu ni bagi apa pun tak boleh buat. No, we must make sure that we can deliver. I'm not saying to be making comparison with other race, but we should be able to. And because we could see that a lot of Malays have good brain, went to good university, we should be able to do it. Why can't we do it? The only way to do it, if I interact with the non-Malay entrepreneurs, they work hard. You cannot keep on telling them, dia macam ni lah, dia macam itu. No, they work hard. The only way to success is work hard. There's no shortcut to that.
As I listen to you, Tan Sri, I just wanted to share this with you. As I was preparing for this episode ni, I was thinking, what would angles be interesting? So the name or the apa kata your apa tu CK, you're known in the market as CK kan. So I kata CK ni macam Calvin Klein lah kan. So, have you always had that CK kan?
A lot of people call me CK lah. Senang sikit lah, Cik Khalib. Cik panjang sangat.
Let me just share this with you. So actually there are parallels with Calvin Klein brand CK with regards to leadership traits which are built into the products, and I'll just share with you, and then I'll ask you 1 or 2 questions. For example, CK's brand is also related to boldness and confidence, assertive, risk-taking, unapologetic, minimalism with precision, clarity, focus, efficiency. Ni yang interesting sikit, emotional intelligence and sensuality. The brand CK. Intuitive, perceptive, emotionally engaging. I think you're very passionate lah, emotional juga. and maybe one more, interesting enough, adaptability and reinvention. The brand CK stands for being agile, innovative, and trend-setting. So all of that is the CK that we have in front of us today, kan?
But except for the glamour lah. The glamour part not me. But in terms of the others too, I must agree with many of it.
And we're actually minimalist. So maknanya you're not comfortable being in the limelight, but you're comfortable being bold. You're comfortable, being assertive and even in a way reinventing things, kan? But I want to ask you about this concept of how much EQ do you feel you have? I mean, again, you talked earlier about how you had to deal with unions, right from the KTM days to TNB, kan? In reflection, how much would a difference have been made, katakanlah, if you had a higher degree of EQ? Just out of curiosity.
Okay. Right. I think before we move to that subject, this CK thing, I remember Tan Sri Azman Mokhtar used to tell me, Khalib, do you know what CK means? I said, what? It is Chainsaw Khalib.
Chainsaw Khalib. Okay.
So basically, to him, is that, this guy, he will just whack everyone. No, EQ part, yes, I think, well, sekarang kita dah tua kan. So on reflection, I think I should be a little bit more tactful lah when I approach the union in the past. Again, as you know, because you can see from our interview that I'm a person who can't wait. I think I cannot wait for too long to get things done.
Okay.
So because the union ni, of course, they want things their way. They don't want to change the so-called their comfort zone. So because of that, I have a lot of instances where I have differences in terms of opinion, which may even led to so-called conflicts.
Okay.
So I admit it's also perhaps my character. Yeah, I'm a person who I could say that I hate losers.
Okay. You hate losers.
Because to me, I want, because again in life you must always aim to be a winner. That's why when I was in Tenaga, I say, well, in Tenaga at that time we have issue with, not to say issue lah, competition from the IPP, all that. So I said, Tenaga, we must always aim the number one. Because why? Number two is the first loser.
Number two is the first loser. Nice analogy. True.
So coming back to the EQ part, I think as I grow older, I think I get more wiser. And then I think I must say, since I came to the Al-Bukhari group or MMC, I think I also have to deal with union, the ports union, and then we have Alam Flora punya union, so many unions. But I think I know how to manage them better now.
Okay.
I know what are their expectations, what are the things that they like to hear from management. So I think my relationship with union today, I must say, is quite cordial. I say no longer the kind of confrontational that I used to be when I was in KTM, when I was in Tenaga. Like I said, maybe as you grow older, you get more wiser. But what is also important, I always remind the union, you can't get everything that you request.
Can?
Similarly, for management also, we also can't be saying no all the time. So there must be this compromise. So at the same time, both parties must strike a balance between company punya performance, company punya affordability, and then at the same time, the union also must understand management also have its limitation, but at the same time, management also will try to accede to some of the requests of the union. If the request is tolerable, if the request can basically be agreed upon, and then there's no, it's not in we are not in the business to who is the winner, who's the loser here. We will have to strike that compromise.
Yeah. I'm moving on into another part of a question that CEOs today encounter. What's your view about handling the younger generation today? In a way, it's like generation anak-anak kita who are now entering the workforce, who like to be seen differently. What's your experience today as that that CEO?
Well, I had this kind of conversation probably a month ago with my management. Same thing. They raise this issue. The younger generation now, the way they think is different. They want work-life balance. They want more freedom, and they want fast promotion. Do you know what I've told my management? Our bosses before also told the same thing about us. It's the same thing. This is a cycle. Bos kita dulu pun kata, this is the generation, this baby boomers punya generation ni, semua nak cepat, nak everything.
29 tahun nak jadi CEO dah.
And then nak gaji besar, all sort of thing. But it's the same thing. It's a cycle. It's just that I think, of course, scenario are different. And the situations are different. So it's a question of adaptability. I don't think one cannot say that, well, the way the current generation is different. No. We have to understand they are in different environment, they are different situation. So we as a bosses also must be able to learn how to adapt. For example, like one of the things that the younger generation today, actually what they want is communication.
Kan?
You must communicate with them. We must be able to relate with them. Yes, they want faster promotions, all that. But if you can explain to them, if you can relate to their requirement or what are their expectation, I think you can have a good so-called staff. For example, like I try as much as I could and to engage with the staff.
Okay.
Especially this younger generation.
All right.
Talk to them. Listen to them. But you don't have to give everything that they want.
Kan.
But listen to them. And one most important part is that this generation get bored quickly.
Kan.
So don't let them do one job for say 5 years. They tak boleh. I don't think they would. They want new challenges.
Yep.
Every time they want new challenges. So don't always ask the so-called the younger generation to understand us. We must also understand them. We try to basically accommodate what they want. And I think that is a healthy relationship between management and your executive. You must have that engagement. I think kalau tidak, we will always have this. Kita kata, younger generation tak understand what, how hard you work before. Yeah, you work hard. No, I can tell you, my children, they work hard. I hardly see them. To say that the younger generation tak nak kerja sampai malam, I think they work hard.
Kan?
I think the problem is now is the parent. The parents are the ones to say that. No, honestly, I have a lot of complaint, not from the children, the parent. Sebab apa lah nak saya kena kerja lama sangat ni? Well, what's wrong with that? You work long hours before, right? Yeah. So when we ask your children to work long hours, what's the problem? They are thinking again. So I can tell you, I think as a country, we are lucky. We have so-called trained, individual. We have, I think, many of our younger generations are very well educated.
Yep.
They can do a lot of things. They want to do a lot of things. I think we should give them. The only thing that is lacking now, perhaps, is the opportunity.
Kan.
So, for example, like when you want to train senior management, we can send them to courses, we can send them to development program. But to me, what is important, just like what Halim Saad did to me, give them the opportunity.
Throw them off the deep end.
Yes, that's what we did. Because nothing will be better than having on-the-job training.
Yeah.
That one will basically allow you to see things in a bigger perspective.
Yeah.
You can go to Harvard Management Program, you can go to INSEAD, all that, but nothing beats hands-on experience.
Kan? I think that's another part of the opportunity that you had. It was cross-industry. It was large roles. And hopefully that's something that you till today will also empower your next generation. I mean, I've even seen, for example, recently or within the last period, your former CFO has become the CFO of Tenaga, in a way, your alma mater. So he's been given those type of opportunities lah kan.
Okay, and a lot of people who worked for me before, now I became CEO, all that. Many, I would say, my CFO in Tenaga, for example, Datuk Izzadin became CEO of UEM. Datuk Rafiq Marikan became CEO of Maybank Islamic. Banyak lah. And again, today also, in MMC, I've gave opportunity to few of, I can't give all, but few young so-called professional. To me, when I look at talent, I look at their so-called attitude. Knowledge, advantage, experience is good, but if you don't have the right attitude, you won't be able to succeed. So, for example, like we just promoted, for example, Badrul became a CFO of MMC, I think at his mid-30s.
Okay.
And then we had one person that I promoted as CEO of our water company at his early 30s. And then the CEO of Container National, when he became a CEO, she was not even 40.
So given the right opportunity, the right person at the right time, it's there, kan? It's there for the taking. Alhamdulillah. Before we conclude, just tell us a bit more about what is CK outside work. What's your passions or hobbies outside your professional career?
To be honest with you, my wife asked me, Khalid, if you retire, what you want to do? Because in your whole entire life, you have been working every day and basically long hours. You don't play golf, you don't have hobby. If you retire, you know apa ni?
So tak boleh retire.
So I said, that's why I'm still working. Because I don't know what I'm going to do if I go into retirement. But I think we have to accept, and we are getting.
I'm not asking you to retire, by the way. Please don't get this wrong.
No, as we have to accept that we are growing old. I think we have to start training and start passing the baton to the next person. But again, I think what gives me satisfaction is when I can see two things. One, as I mentioned just now, when I can see that, well, we can develop things from nothing to something. That one gives me a lot of satisfaction. When project delay, I get so agitated. I say, well, why can't we do this? So we want to deliver things. So that's number one. But I think the other equally important or satisfying thing for me is when I can see people who work for me grow in terms of their career. That gives me a lot of satisfaction. Because to me, it's okay. I think one of the problems that some people have is that they takut orang yang kerja bawah dia jadi bos dia. So to me, why? Nothing wrong with that. Rezeki kita banyak itu je lah. Kan? So but nonetheless, I think we should not stop training people so that one day they could even be better than us. And I think for me, in terms, perhaps another part that gives me a lot of satisfaction is when I can be involved in education, for example. Alhamdulillah, I've been given the so-called the opportunity to now become the chairman of one of the public university. I'm now the chairman of UNIZA. I think Alhamdulillah, the university. When I went in, it's only 3 years ago. Now the university is already ranked in the Time rank. So we have and then number of students has grown from 14,000 to 19,000 now. So within the span of 3 years, 50%.
Yes.
So I think, and then again, the university is also making a lot of progress in terms of being, as I said just now, being number one in many things. So I think education is an area that gives me a lot of satisfaction. Not for the money, but more because you see that you can build character of this young individual, this so-called, orang kata satu usaha membina bangsa Malaysia.
Alhamdulillah, the future. Masya Allah. You know, as we are recording, you're actually in your lunchtime, so we're taking up your professional time.
I always miss lunch anyway.
But Tan Sri, this has been great. It's been relatively short but sweet. Thank you so much again for
always
joining
my
us.
pleasure.
We really appreciate your support, and I'm so happy that we finally made this time to meet you today. Please also, once we have this uploaded, we hope that the members of your team in MMC also have a chance to watch it, because they will certainly learn a little bit more about you as their leader, as well as the broader community out there of young leaders who aspire to be, someone like you one day, inshallah.
Inshallah. Everybody can. If Khalid can do it, all of you can. Because I say I come from kampung, and nothing. Before I end, probably I would like to say this part, which my uncle reminded me before I start working. And because just before I start working, he says, Khalib, remember this part. One, we come very poor family. And of course, in his own way, so I make it this way. We come from very poor family, right? Kita tak ada apa. And so basically, you work hard, because nobody is going to push you up. There'll be in your career besok ni, there'll be a lot of people who wants to pull you down. Nobody is going to push you up. So work hard. That's the only way or the only route for us to be successful. Work hard. That's why I mentioned just now, we have to work hard. But number two, for young generation, again, we all talk about these unhealthy practices, all this. The number two, always remember. I may put it very crude, but I think very meaningful. Don't eat and shit at the same place.
Okay.
Sorry for my language.
Point noted. And for everyone to take heed of what it means to each and every one of them. Tan Sri, thank you once again. A pleasure. Alhamdulillah, this is why I love what I'm doing. And I hope you too enjoyed the show. Please share it with your friends if you know some people have not had the chance to watch it yet. So terima kasih sekali lagi for joining us on Cuba Cerita Podcast. We look forward to your support with further subscriptions and of course seeing future episodes, as well as some of the episodes you may have missed from the past. So inshallah, till we see you again, thank you so much for joining us. Have a good day, a good week ahead. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much.